Last time, 1 to 24 championship predictions. The glorious game of stick or twist. We've done it in pre-season and all the international breaks throughout the campaign. In theory, this should be the easiest one. 38 games, only 8 to go. We should be most accurate. Whatever. This is the EFL. You know it's going to throw some right curveballs at us. And by the way, this may be one of the hardest relegation fights to predict as well. We'll get into that first because we'll go 24 upwards. Let me just show you the form lines for the last 8 games. Burnley, the best team in the division over the past 8. And annoyingly, look, Burnley and Sheffield United bang together. And we think they might be banged together in the table. And we think Bristol City and West Brom, they're banged together in the form and banged together in the league table, fighting for the playoff spots. Down at the bottom there, those are the worst 8 teams. Pay special attention to Oxford, to Stoke, and to Luton, all in a relegation fight. 2 of those aren't currently in the bottom 3 either. Right, here we go. Let's start at the bottom, where I've got Plymouth Argyle. I had them surviving in pre-season and in October, but my thesis here is Plymouth might be a few points adrift, and the next 5 teams are all going to be subject to a high tide, and they're probably all going to be between 46 and 49 points. Given Plymouth skew better at home, and they have a pretty gnarly home run in these remaining 4 games for Argyle: Norwich, Sheffield United, Coventry and Leeds at home. Which is why I've got Plymouth propping it up, and then it gets very, very tasty because frankly, the next 5 places, I think, if you were to get in the comments and swap any of the 5 teams into any order, I'm going to respect that, and I don't think I can argue with it. Anything could happen. But complete madness, I've got Luton going down. I've got Luton finishing in 23rd. My reason is the next 3 games for Luton are absolutely key. They go away to Hull, then they play Leeds, and then they go away to Stoke. And I wonder whether if they fudge the next 3 games and get 1, 0 or 2 points, and for example, they're at 40 games, with 37 points, they'll definitely still be in the bottom 3. If that's the case, I think they'll have left it too late. And it would then need something crazy. They need to win 4 out of the last 5. And I do not see that happening. I think that little 4-point gap might make all the difference. I do think they might get a couple of wins. And, you know, they're going to need to. Because if I'm thinking everyone's at 46, that leaves me headroom for Luton to get 11 points. Will they do that? I'm not so sure. I can't believe I'm saying it because I had them finishing 3rd in pre-season, but this is where we are, and this is with 38 games of evidence. I'm going to go for Luton to drop, and this is a massive gamble, this one. Oxford in 22nd. Now, I could have loads of egg on my face, and do you know what? I'll honestly be quite happy if I do, because it's great to have new teams coming up from League One and surviving in the Championship. Oxford have currently got 42 points. So, in all reality, Oxford only really need to win a couple, draw 1, draw 2. That would take them to 48, wouldn't it? They're going to go down with 48. I mean, look at Birmingham last season. It can happen. The big issue I have got with Oxford is if it goes down to those last 3 games and they go to Cardiff, maybe we get a Cardiff overtake in round 44. I think the high tide might catch them, and they're on a horrible streak at the moment. Did they peak under Gary Rowett with that new manager bounce? And it's going to be hard. I know it could only be a couple of wins if we don't get the high tide. I just wonder whether Oxford might be really unlucky and in the wrong place, the wrong time, finish with 46, 47 and still drop in 22nd. I'd like to be wrong, and it's a gamble considering I need 5 teams to overtake them over the next 8 games. It could happen. I've got Cardiff in 21st. And I've already mentioned that round 44 game for Cardiff. I wonder whether Cardiff could overtake Oxford in the head-to-head in round 44. I also, look, Cardiff play QPR and Preston. They've also got Stoke, which is a head-to-head as well as the Oxford one. The Sheffield United away trip isn't fun for Cardiff. But what the other thing I'll say about Cardiff is Robinson and Salek, they've got goals. They might have the player to win a tight game. And if I'm correct that it's not going to be someone losing 6 out of the last 8 that's going to screw them, that it's going to be a high tide. You need goals and you need wins. And I think that works for Cardiff, who I've got in 21st. And I'm going out on a limb for John Eustace and Darby. And look, okay, they're only currently 1 point off 20th place. They're in 22nd with the goal difference that might help, given Eustace will keep it tight and be good at drawing games. Again, I'll reiterate, I don't think draws will be all that helpful come what may this season. However, when it comes to Derby, I do like the home running here. It's in their hands. They've got Luton and Stoke in the last 2 games. And being what I'm about to say about Stoke, I wonder whether Stoke might be safe by the last game, which could open the door for Derby as well. One other thing to factor, they play Preston in the next game. They play later than everyone else because of the FA Cup. I wonder whether Preston might be a sitting duck for Derby. So I can see them winning once, twice. Can they win 3 times at Pride Park? They'll stay up if they do, surely, won't they? Wow. So Stoke I've just mentioned. My thesis on Stoke here, God, how much do I love myself? My thesis, how about that, is that I like Stoke's first 3 games in this. Sorry, I'm on the iPad here the whole time. I've got to look at the fixtures. This is too complicated otherwise. Stoke's first 4 games, QPR, Preston, Luton head-to-head, Cardiff head-to-head. I think Stoke might get 6 or 7 points from the first 4 to put them in contention. That might be enough to just get them above the line and stay there. I tell you what, if they don't, I think Stoke will get relegated. If they have problems in the first 4 games, if they get like 1 point in those first 4 games, Sheffield Wednesday, Leeds, Sheffield United, and then a Derby head-to-head. I don't think it will go to the last day for Stoke. I think Derby might beat Stoke to survive on the last day and Stoke will already be there. If there's anything in it, that does not work for Stoke, does it? You don't want to be going away in a head-to-head on the final day of the season. But I think they'll be all right because of the first 4 games. And that was bloody hard, those first 5 teams, I tell you. And have some respect and some humility in the comments. If you're going to come at me, get your 5 in there. I respect whatever order you stick anyone down there. This is blooming tough to call. I think Swansea are going to be a bit beachy. I think there's a managerial kind of issue there. They need to sort that out. They could get sucked in, but I don't think they will. I've got them dropping a couple of places. They're at 44 now. So if they win 1 and draw 1, they go to 48. I don't know. Where will it be? 49, 50? If it's like that, they could get sucked in. I think they could win a couple, though, couldn't they? Which should be enough for Swansea in their plan for next season with another new manager. Hull, I haven't mentioned in all of this. I think Hull might be able to get to 50 points. I've liked Sellers so far. I think, and a lot of this is predicated, we said, didn't we, at the start of this, I don't like Luton's run to begin with. I think Hull might enjoy playing Luton on the first game back and really, push that gap. They've been away to Sheffield United and won under Sellers. They've been away to Sunderland and won. I like what he's doing. I like the squad. Look, I had them 8th at the start of the season and they crapped the bed under Tim Volta, didn't they? So I think Hull will be closer to 50 points than the 41 they've got right now, which should put them clear of the mess. And I haven't mentioned Pompey. And Pompey, again, look, I've got Oxford dropping and they're on 42 points. So are Pompey. I hope you understand the logic of that, Oxford fans. Take the emotion out of it. Pompey are trending in one direction and Oxford, I can't do my mirrored hands here, are trending in the opposite direction, which is why I've got, Pompey going up 1 place and Oxford, frankly, going down 4. Pompey have been great. They've been brilliant at home. They've got really, really good momentum. And like I mentioned about Cardiff with Sadek and Robinson, they've got goals, Pompey, as well, haven't they? Bishop. Lang's injured now, isn't he, I think? Murphy, Ritchie, etc., etc. So I think they'll win a couple more games. There's not much. This is real low margin stuff, guys. I'm talking about Pompey winning a couple, maybe Oxford not winning a couple, and a chasm between them. But look, if this is going to go 46, 46, 47, 48, 48, 49, 50, 50, it could be like this. It could be that 1 3-pointer. We could be talking about that Oxford game against Watford before the break where they did get the 3-pointer. that could be the entire difference between the whole of this. This is damn hard. Have the humility to admit that when you're crying in the comments and yelling and screaming at me. Get your own thoughts in. Right, let's move this on. 15th, Preston. Heckingbottom's done a good job. I had them 13th and then changed the managership right at the start of the season and he got them moving. FA Cup, where are we? Quarter final? Is it semi-final? Is it a quarter final or a semi-final? Can't even tell you which one it is, but yeah, Preston must be a quarter final, mustn't it? I can't remember. Anyway, Preston's still in the FA Cup against Aston Villa, and that may be a bit of a distraction. I think they'll kind of flollop their way into 15th, and it might get a little bit beachy. That's one place lower. I've got them at the moment. QPR are currently 15th and on a terrible run. Maybe the terrible run will go like another couple of games, and then we'll get a bit of a Cifuentes. I'm calling Cifuentes streaky now because it just has happened too many times. So they're either going to get 10 points in 4 and then get 1 point in 4, or whichever way round that will happen, and they'll end up in 14th in my humble opinion, which would be 3 places lower than I had them pre-season. Blackburn, obviously, if you have been noticing what's been going on at Blackburn, Big Val's been in there. Horrible start. I mean, how long's he been in? Like 1 point in 4 games, something like that. They're currently 8th, and there was a sense under Eustace that they were punching as well to be 8th. It's very tight there, so I've got Blackburn capitulating basically and dropping down from 9th to 13th. Look, pre-season, I thought it'd be absolute awful. I thought it'd get relegated. I thought Venky's would take them down. Owners relegate clubs, as we've said many times on this YouTube channel. But yeah, trending down, got them going into the bottom half, which is not going to be a great start for Big Val. Norwich in 12th. They are currently 13th. I've been a bit naughty here because I've put Norwich in 12th. I had a look. I thought, where am I going to put Norwich? And I looked. Pre-season, 12th. And I'm like, they're one place out. Could I actually get Norwich bob on? I wonder whether there might be a place or two higher. Maybe I could sub in Watford, Millwall, who are coming up in this list. Because I do love Saints and Sargent. And Norwich, honestly, they could do anything in the last 8 games. They could score 4 points or they could score 16 points. I don't know. I think they're too far back off the playoffs for that to be an issue. They're like 9 points. They're 9 off it? Yeah, 49, yeah, 57. Yeah, they are indeed. But yeah, feels a bit beachy for Norwich. And I wonder whether some of their star players, agents and outlooks are going to be... Look, I'm not going to be at Norwich next season if I'm Saints or Sargent or Nunes or whoever star players they've got there. So, could be anything with Norwich. I've gone for 12, partly because I'd be right in pre-season. How about that? Millwall, I kind of like where Alex Neil is with Millwall at the moment. They are 11th, so I've got them staying exactly where they are. I think they'll probably win a few, lose a few, and that's not just because I'm looking at the form table that literally goes WL, WL, W at the moment. But I always find Alex Neil, and we've had him at Norwich and at Preston and at Stoke and now at Millwall. They always get going in the first, sort of 6 months, don't they? And he gets a tune, he gets some intensity out of them. So I think they're going to stay right where they are in 11th and finish in that second quartile that Millwall fans are very, very used to by now. Top 10, Watford. Again, I've got them staying where they are. And you can see, given I thought they'd be 18th this season, that's a jolly good job by Tom Cleverley. I still happen to think with Watford, there is enough star power in there left over from the parachutes and the squad. It does keep diminishing year on year under the Potsos, but I think it's a good job by Cleverley. And look, they are 10th now. I've got them finishing 10th. I said they'd be 9th in January, and we're going to be in that sort of ballpark. And well played, Cleverley. I'm sure people will have them trending down next season. Proximity to the Premier League. The longer you stay in the Championship, the harder it gets. 3 new parachute teams come in. Your squad shrinks, your income shrinks. We know the deal. But for now, let's leave Watford right where they are. And part of this with Watford and Millwall and Norwich is I think Blackburn are the trend down and Sheffield Wednesday are the trend up in this little area of the table. I really like Danny Roll, so I think he might drag them up into 9th. Like I said, 10th pre-season. I think I might be close to 12th at the moment. Also, their fixtures have been weird this season, Sheffield Wednesday, where they've had little runs where they don't play any of the top 6. And they've ticked everything off, haven't they? No top 7 opposition remaining for Sheffield Wednesday. So I wonder whether you might get a little trend up in this final 8 games. I don't know whether they might get like, I don't know, 12 or 13 points or something and move towards, where would that put them, like 65, move towards 9th rather than mid-table 12th where they are right now. Middlesbrough, I've got in 8th. And Middlesbrough are kind of like Norwich, but with 5 more points. So Middlesbrough could go on one of those lovely runs under Michael Carrick where they actually justify they're still super high in the XG table, by the way. I know people get very emotional and cross about XG tables, but the underlying data says Middlesbrough make lots of chances and should be better than they are. Is that a dugout issue with Carrick? Are they too flaky? So I think one of two things is going to happen. They're going to flake their way to the end of the season and stay in 8th and be a bit up and down, and you'll think they're going to get in the playoffs and then they'll lose a stupid home game. Or they'll surge and they'll get in the playoffs. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know, I'm a little bit disappointed with where it's gone with Michael Carrick because I thought he was amazing in his first season, but I can't back them to make up it's only 3 points to West Brom at the moment, but just not seeing the consistency. Right. It now gets very tough again because I think you understand we have 4 teams playing for, or who we know are going to be the top 4, and then it's a bit of a struggle for 7th, 6th, and 5th, indeed. So, let's deal with this right now. And shall we deal with these 2 sides together? I've got West Brom in 7th. So I have the Baggies, who are currently in the playoffs on goal difference, just missing out. And the reason is, I wonder whether West Brom might get caught in the muck in the last 3 games and be collateral because they face Derby, Cardiff and Luton. So they're going to be in head-to-head, I know it's not head-to-head, but they're going to be in scraps with teams who might be happy to stick 11 behind the ball, play for set pieces and just play ugly, horrible football. And I think Tony Mowbray would rather play against Middlesbrough and Watford or even the blooming top 4 than face that. The other thing is they've got a head-to-head at Bristol City, spoiler alert. And if that game was at the Hawthorns, I might swap these guys around. But I wonder whether West Brom might lose a big game to someone who we might be about to mention and succumb and miss out on the playoffs. It's so tight, guys. It's so difficult. But look, little bit of fun. Let's do it. Let's put Bristol City in the playoffs. Why not? Loads of people came at me pre-season when I said they're 7th. They're bloody 7th right now. I didn't hold my nerve. Look. Down. Sorry, I can't do the mirrored thing. There we go. And they are now back in 7th. But, I don't know. There's something rumbling there. They're hyper consistent. They're not losing at the moment. They're good at home. Okay, fixtures aren't great. If they don't win the head-to-head, they won't be in the playoffs. They have to beat West Brom, don't they? But then, I'm looking at other games. They've got Watford at home. They've got Sunderland at home. And Sunderland might be in a weird position where they're definitely going to finish where they're going to finish already, pretty much. Spoiler alert for 2 minutes' time. They've also got Leeds away 2 games from the end of the season. Might Leeds already be automatically up by then? I don't know. Preston at home. I can see some wins in there. If you're winning 4 and drawing 3 and losing 1, maybe. Yeah, what is that? 15 points in the last day? I don't know. I think that might be enough. Wouldn't it be fun? Bristol City in the playoffs. When were they last in there? First, did they get in there? No, I don't think they've been in there since they got to the final. Did they when they lost to Hull? Is that right? Fact check me, Bristol City fans. I can't remember. I've got Coventry finishing in 5th spot. Look, the next 2 are really tough for Coventry. I don't think I even need to bring up the fixtures because I think I can memorise all of this stuff now. We've studied the top of the table so much. Sheffield United and Burnley. Coventry may get 0 or 1 points in the next 2 games, but I think of the last 6, they could maybe win 4 of them, which should be fine for 5th place, providing there's a draw and, it's not 4 wins and 4 defeats. Then the last 6, they play Pompey, Hull, West Brom, which again might help Bristol City, Plymouth and Luton. I mean, I can't on the one hand say playing Luton will damage West Brom, but it won't damage Coventry. But I don't know. Middlesbrough on the last day of the season as well. I think Middlesbrough might be on the beach and Coventry might be there for the playoffs. So I'm going to have Coventry staying in 5th spot for that reason. And in the playoffs, they would face Sunderland, which, guys, come on. Surely this is the most nailed-on one. If anyone doesn't have Sunderland in 4th, then they've either got Sunderland winning 7 of their last 8 or losing 7 of their last 8. Sunderland are currently 10 points above 5th and 9 points below 3rd. So I think this is the most nailed-on one, maybe other than Plymouth. No, it's more nailed-on than Plymouth finishing bottom, in my opinion. Sunderland, I think, will definitely finish 4th. I will eat my hat and this plastic bottle rather than drinking it if Sunderland... what odds would you get on Sunderland not finishing 4th and Birmingham not finishing 1st in League One as I throw water down me? I'm procrastinating because this gets really bloody hard now. Top 3 time, everybody. Wow. As things stand, Leeds top, 80. Sheffield United top, tied top, 80. Leeds top on goal difference. You can't be tied top. You know what I'm saying. They're tied on points. Burnley, 3rd, 78. Press the button. And you all know as soon as I press that button, if I've got Burnley 3rd, that means I've got Leeds and Sheffield United going up automatically. Can I tell you something? I can be honest with you guys. I did the graphics for this and I wrote my notes, which look like that. And I can even show you on the notes the crossings out there. I had Burnley 2nd and Sheffield United 3rd on the basis of momentum until I looked at the fixtures. And at the last minute, I swapped these 2 over. So I was happy that I thought Leeds were going to finish top. And I swapped these 2 at the very last minute. And I've written down on my notes, I think I can find like 5 wins for Sheffield United. And I think I can find slip-ups for Burnley. Okay, and what I mean by that is looking at the Burnley fixtures, and I see Bristol City there in the first game. Bristol City draw. And I see Coventry away. Can they draw that? And then I see Derby away, scrapping. Could they draw that? Then I see Norwich with Saints and Sargent. Could Norwich draw? Could Norwich score twice at Turf Moor? The impregnable defence. Which takes us to the head-to-head. And I think Burnley will beat Sheffield United in round 44. I'm so conflicted about this. So my premise is that Sheffield United are going to be ahead as we go into round 44. Burnley will beat them, but Sheffield United will still get over the line. I'm tying myself up in knots with this. Look, I've gone 3rd. I'm going to keep them 3rd. Let's move on to Sheffield United because Burnley fans, keep watching. I know you're probably cross at me. Doesn't matter. I'm just a bloke on the internet. I hope you go up. Good luck to you. Sheffield United, here we go. Sheffield United in a big head-to-head with Coventry. They could beat them. Then they go to Oxford. I've got Oxford dropping. So surely I've got Sheffield United beating Oxford. Sheffield United then play Millwall at home, Plymouth away, and Cardiff at home. I think Sheffield United could win 3, 4, or 5 of the games leading up to the round 44 head-to-head. They are currently already 2 points ahead. It is not far-fetched in this little brain that Sheffield United might be 4 points ahead of Burnley, who have a vastly superior goal difference, going in to the head-to-head. I still think Burnley will beat Sheffield United in the head-to-head. I don't know why. I'm sorry, Blades fans. That could secure promotion if Sheffield United go to Burnley and win. But I think it might be too late. I think Burnley might beat them with the clean sheet at Turf. And then Sheffield United have Stoke. Sheffield United got Blackburn at home on the last day of the season. I don't see them not winning 5 or 6 of these games. If they win 6, they've got 98 effing points. You're kind of looking at Burnley having to win 7 or 8 of the last 8 games. I know. I'll quote Daniel Farker. It's more complex than you think. I can't do the German accent in the last games of the season. Sheffield United won't win 6 of the last 8. Burnley won't win 7 of the last 8. There'll be slip-ups we don't know. But if I attribute slip-ups to all of the teams, then I still have it coming out this way. Burnley third, Sheffield United second, Leeds first. Let me just reiterate before we talk about Leeds. I can just see more tight wins for Sheffield United. Sheffield United have won 15 games by 1 goal this season, and Burnley have drawn 10,000 games this season. How many games have Burnley drawn this season, for God's sakes? Can't get my table up. 15. If that continues, Sheffield United will finish second and Burnley will finish third. Wow. It's so hard, guys. Again, please come at me with respect and humility. If you've got that top 3 in any order, I respect you. Who knows what the F is going to happen? I think Leeds will finish top. I thought they were going to finish top all season and pre-season. They've got all the advantages now. If Leeds don't finish top, then Leeds are cursed. They are as ridiculous as their fans think that they are, and that they're going to mess this up out of nowhere. I think the fixtures work in Leeds' favour. We knew like a couple of weeks ago after they played West Brom, Leeds weren't playing any of the top 7, I think it was at the time. The only way I can see Leeds messing this up is if they like draw at Luton or lose at Luton and draw at Middlesbrough. Score 1 point in those 2 away games and let the other 2 get ahead of them. And then that thing happens with Leeds where they've got this monstrous fan base, this ridiculous intensity, and the players play like they're wearing lead weights in their boots. I think the head-to-head as well between Burnley and Sheffield United massively helps Leeds. That's margin for error because they know one or both of those sides drop points in round 44. But look at the games they've got. They've got Swansea at home. They've got Preston at home. They've got Oxford, who I've got dropping. They've got Stoke, who I think are going to front load their points. Bristol said they go to Plymouth on the last day. What if Plymouth are already down by that point? I just think the advantage is heavily with Leeds. 2 points per game takes them to 96. 96 is too much. 94 surely wins you the title, doesn't it? What would Burnley have to get to be above 94? Can't add up. 17. 17 in the last 8. Is that even possible? How do you get 17 points? You can't. You need to win 6. No, you can win 5 and draw 2 and lose 1. And they've got the head-to-head. Blah. Don't let me talk myself around. There will be slip-ups. And that's why I've got Leeds top, Sheffield United picking up enough close wins, and Burnley maybe some draws. Look, would I be surprised if this went 93, 92, 91? Or 93, 91, 90 or something like that. 3 teams over 90. Burnley only need 4 wins to get to 90. It's going to happen, isn't it? Oh my God. Wow. This has been so hard. Please, again, I've said it a few times. If you see any dickheads in the comments abusing me or any emotionally led football fans who are letting this take over this and power these, please point them to the last 2 minutes of this video where I talk about this stuff. Please tell them that they're being a dick, and there's a message from Ben at the end. It's predictions. It's pretty much nigh on impossible what I'm trying to do here. So for F's sake, I'm not going to swear, keep calm. Delete your comment. If you put an emotional comment or abuse me, delete it and come back and put a calm comment. You don't need to be overly emotional. You don't need to abuse me. And for all the people that say, Ben, stop putting all your caveats and your explanations at the end of videos. You don't have to put up with the abuse I get with 40,000 plus survivors on this channel every day. Every time I open this iPad and go to the YouTube app, there will be an abusive comment, a snarky comment, or an overly emotional comment. Don't tell me not to caveat it. It's hard to cope with. Do you understand? Don't add conspiracies. I will get comments that say, Ben has put Team X or Y here because A, he has an emotional attachment towards one team or against one team. I can tell you objectively, even though you think that, you are talking utter crap. I've sat down, I've made notes, I will send you my spreadsheet with data that I put them all in order and then I move them around based on my hunches. And my hunches are not powered by conspiracies. Please, as ever, if you want to talk to me about one team, all I would reply is, okay, so who are you moving to fit them there? You cannot, in good conscience, you will, because people are emotionally led and they only focus on the team they support. You cannot just come in the comments and say, oh, you've got Preston 13th. That's a load of crap. They're going to finish way higher than that. What use is that to me? That's a rubbish comment. That's a dumb comment. I'm going to say it now. Because you need to tell me, okay, Preston are currently 14th. What's going to happen to Norwich, who they're above? What's going to happen to Sheffield Wednesday and Millwall, who they're above? Justify your comments. And the last one, have a try yourself. Look, I tell people not to get emotional. Here's some self-awareness. I just got emotional, but I'm getting emotional about the fact that I have to defend myself and the fact that I see tens, hundreds of comments each week. Snarky, abusive, emotional, sarcastic, and it's not fun. That's the only reason I have these rants at the end of this. If you can do all of those things, please, you're good people, 99% out of you. It's the 1% that are arsehole trolls that ruin it, that ruin my experience and make me project that onto all of the comments. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry. Blame the 1% of arseholes who are emotional. They're trolls. They're awful. Anyway, I've said too much. My heart's going, my pulse is racing. Get involved in the comments. Do you know what I'll do? I'll link up the pre-season 1 to 24 videos because I put my neck on the line from the word go. Do the same. Get in the comments. It's harder than you think.